Brazil is home to one of the world's largest cattle herds, more than 200 million animals spread across vast tropical landscapes. But how does the country turn vast pastures, scorching sun, and centuries-old ranching traditions into premium cuts of beef that end up on dinner tables from Sao Paulo to New York? Today, we're opening the door to a world where nature, scale, and technology combine to create a giant food machine. From the rolling plains of Mato Grosso to the lush ranches of Goiás, Brazil's cattle industry operates like a living network. Most animals begin life on open pastures, moving slowly across vast fields before entering a step-by-step system designed to protect meat quality, animal welfare, and food safety. For American consumers, Brazil may seem far away, but the journey of Brazilian beef still reflects values that many Americans care about: responsible land use, low-stress handling, and traceable food. On these farms, families and large companies often share the same landscape. Some rely on horses, simple fencing, and instincts passed down through generations. Others use drones, GPS collars, and digital records to track exactly where each animal is and how quickly it grows. Every day, thousands of small choices about grazing, water, and health silently shape the steaks, briskets, and burgers that eventually make their way into global trade. In this video, we follow that journey from free-range grazing to high-tech feedlots, from long-distance transport to state-of-the-art processing plants, and finally to the export hubs that ship Brazilian beef across the ocean. But before we dive in, here's a question for you. What drives Brazil's beef empire? More technology or tradition? If you believe technology plays the biggest role, comment 1. If you think tradition is still the true core of Brazil's livestock industry, comment 0. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this journey, because in part 2, we're going straight to the open pastures where each calf's story begins. Brazil's beef journey truly begins on open pastures that seem to stretch without end. In the tropical savannas of the Cerrado and in parts of the Amazon basin, millions of calves take their first steps on natural grass. Here, cattle spend much of their early life moving freely across wide fields, building strong muscles and natural immunity as they walk, graze, and search for shade under scattered trees. Most ranches focus on Nelore and Brahman cattle, breeds specifically adapted to heat, insects, and rough terrain. Their light-colored coats and loose skin help them stay cool under Brazil's intense sun. This natural resistance is one reason Brazil can maintain such a huge national herd while keeping animals healthy across regions with very different climates and rainfall. Grazing is rarely random. Ranchers divide their land into separate paddocks and practice rotational grazing. Cattle spend a few days or weeks in one area, then are moved to the next, giving the grass time to recover. This system protects the soil, encourages stronger root growth, and keeps forage more consistent year-round. It also spreads manure more evenly, quietly recycling nutrients back into the land that feeds the herd. Simple structures play a big role in animal comfort. Water tanks and troughs are placed so that cattle never have to walk too far to drink. Shade structures, trees, and natural windbreaks help them cope with midday heat. Mineral blocks supply extra nutrients that grass alone may not provide, supporting bone strength, fertility, and weight gain. On many ranches, daily work still looks traditional. Riders on horseback check fences, count animals, and look for signs of lameness or illness at sunrise. But technology is slowly changing this picture. Some ranchers now use GPS collars to track herd movement, drones to inspect remote corners of their land, and digital records to log vaccinations and treatments. This combination of open-range freedom, careful pasture management, and gradually increasing technology shapes the cattle long before they ever see a feedlot. By the time they leave these fields, they already carry the results of months of natural growth, setting the foundation for the intensive finishing phase that comes next. After months of grazing freely across open pastures, cattle that reach the right frame size transition into Brazil's finishing phase, the feedlot. Here, nutrition becomes far more controlled. Instead of relying on natural grass growth and seasonal changes, feedlots use carefully balanced diets designed to promote steady, predictable weight gain. Corn, soy meal, silage, and custom mineral mixes form the foundation of these rations, each adjusted to match the cattle's age, weight, and metabolic needs. Animal nutritionists monitor every detail, from protein levels to fiber content. Even small adjustments in the diet can influence growth rate, feed efficiency, and fat distribution, key factors for producing consistent beef for both domestic markets and international buyers. Feed mixing trucks operate on schedules measured down to the hour, delivering fresh, uniform feed along long rows of bunks. Technology plays an increasingly important role. RFID ear tags track each animal individually, storing data on vaccinations, weight changes, and health treatments. Digital panels allow managers to view herd performance in real time, identifying animals that may need medical attention or dietary changes. Some feedlots even use sensors that monitor body temperature and movement patterns, giving early signals of illness before visual symptoms appear. These measures help protect cattle from diseases that could spread quickly in concentrated environments. Routine health checks, hoof inspections, and vaccination schedules are strictly followed to maintain animal well-being and reduce the need for antibiotics. Despite the more structured environment, low-stress handling remains central. Workers are trained to move cattle calmly, using visual cues rather than noise or force. This reduces anxiety, improves eating behavior, and lowers the risk of injury. Comfortable bedding, clean water troughs, and shaded areas further support animal welfare under the warmer Brazilian climate. By the time cattle finish this phase, they have reached market-ready weights with the desired muscle-to-fat ratio. This carefully managed growth prepares them for the next part of their journey: transportation to Brazil's large-scale processing plants, where precision and food safety become the focus. Once the cattle reach market weight, the truck arrives at the feedlot for its final journey. Transport in Brazil is simple. Cattle are gently moved up and down ramps and guided into livestock trailers designed to carry large herds. The interior is spacious enough for the cattle to stand comfortably throughout the trip, and the truck is designed to ensure air circulation as they travel to the processing facility. The journey can take several hours depending on the distance, and the goal is simply to move the cattle efficiently and without unnecessary disturbance. Once the truck arrives at the plant, the cattle are unloaded into the receiving area, where wide aisles and sturdy sidewalls help them move forward in a steady line. The facility layout is designed to allow cattle to move naturally toward the stunning chamber without sudden turns or distractions. Workers lead the cattle from behind, keeping the line moving. Inside the plant, the first important step is humane stunning. Brazil uses similar systems to large plants in the United States. Cattle are loaded into chutes in a single line, holding them in place for just a few seconds. A pneumatic locking device is then used to instantly stun the animal. This method is widely used in commercial beef production because it is quick and painless in the subsequent stages. After stunning, the unconscious cattle are transferred to the processing line. At this point, muscle control and awareness are completely lost, allowing the plant to perform the next steps accurately and consistently. The stunning process is not only essential for humane handling, but also ensures that the carcass is relaxed, which improves meat quality during processing. Each section is directly connected to the next, creating a continuous flow that prepares the cattle for the technical work inside the processing floor. From here, the focus shifts to a series of mechanical and manual steps that transform each animal into beef cuts, ready for packaging and export. Inside the plant, the process begins immediately after stunning. The unconscious cattle move along an overhead rail where workers perform the bleeding step. This removes most of the blood and prepares the carcass for the mechanical systems ahead. The next area is hide removal. Mechanical hide pullers lift and separate the skin, while workers trim the edges to keep the surface clean. The hide comes off in large sheets and is sent to a separate line, where it is salted and packed for shipment to tanneries. Leather is an important co-product of Brazil's cattle industry, so this stage is handled quickly to prevent damage. After the hide is removed, the carcass reaches the evisceration section. Here, workers open the body cavity and remove the organs in a set order. Edible organs go into chilled containers, while the rest moves toward rendering, where it becomes tallow and protein meal. Keeping the sequence smooth helps maintain hygiene and keeps the line moving at the right speed. With the organs removed, the carcass is washed and directed into a chilling room. Temperatures stay in the mid-30 seconds Fahrenheit, similar to U.S. plants. The cooling phase helps the muscles firm and slows bacterial activity. Carcasses remain in this room for many hours until they reach the temperature required for cutting. Next comes fabrication. Saws split the carcass into halves, and workers cut these into primals such as chuck, rib, and loin. Depending on the customer, primals may be sold whole or broken down into steaks, roasts, or boneless pieces. Some tasks rely on machines, but skilled butchers still handle the finer trimming and portioning. Once the meat is cut, it moves into packaging. Most export beef is vacuum sealed, boxed, labeled, and stacked onto pallets. Labels include production dates and plant codes that link back to the original lot. Boxes are stored in cold rooms until refrigerated trucks arrive. From there, the product travels either to domestic distributors or to ports such as Santos and Paranagua, where containers are loaded onto ships. The carcass that began on open pasture has now become a packaged commodity prepared for global markets, setting the stage for the final look at Brazil's cultural and economic ties to beef. Brazil's cattle industry is more than a large supply chain. It is a part of the country's identity. For many rural families, ranching is a way of life passed down over generations. The landscapes where cattle are raised, dry savannas, wet lowlands, and wide-rolling plains shape daily routines and seasonal rhythms. Even as Brazil modernizes, the presence of cattle remains a familiar sight that connects old traditions with a rapidly growing agricultural economy. Beef plays a central role in Brazilian culture, especially through churrasco, the country's famous style of open-fire barbecue. In cities and rural towns alike, gatherings centered around grilled beef cuts bring communities together. Certain regions take pride in their own specialties, from slow-roasted ribs in the south to simpler salt and fire preparations in the interior. These regional differences highlight how deeply beef is woven into social life. Economically, cattle production is one of Brazil's strongest agricultural sectors. Millions of people work across the chain from pastures and feedlots to transport and processing plants. Beef exports account for billions of dollars each year, making Brazil one of the world's most influential suppliers. Large-scale production, diverse climates, and extensive pasture land allow the country to serve both domestic markets and global buyers. At the same time, the industry continues to evolve. More producers are adopting rotational grazing, better pasture management, and modern traceability systems to meet new expectations from consumers and international partners. Technology is becoming more common, but traditional knowledge still guides many day-to-day decisions in the field. This mix of old and new helps the industry remain resilient in a changing world. From open grasslands to ports shipping beef across oceans, Brazil's cattle sector reflects a long-standing connection between land, labor, and food. The journey of each animal shows how a simple, familiar practice raising cattle can grow into a system that supports communities, shapes culture, and contributes to global trade.